everyone. This is Rotaract Surya, Chairman of Lockdown Symposium 3190. I extend my warm greetings to every one of you for being a part of this Zoom meeting. Yes, we are going to have the first most anticipated speaker meet of Lockdown Symposium 3190. Before starting the meet, we have a couple of details which we would like to share it across to you guys. And yes, we have around 100 participants in Lockdown Symposium from three countries, that is India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. And our participants are from almost 17 Rotary International districts. Thank you for all of you for joining us on the first note. And yes, I am sure that you guys enjoyed the day one activities, and until today afternoon also you were enjoying the day two activities, the mad ads or the any challenge be it. And also we have an update for you for the remaining of the day. We have a quiz preliminary round scheduled at 9:30 p.m. Don't miss to take part in it. And the finalist will be having 10 finalists for the mega final round that will be organizing on video platform tomorrow night at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It is going to be a 2-hour quiz program, and the quiz master is going to be our Krishna Arjun. And top scorer of each group will be the finalist of the quiz program that we're going to have it tomorrow. And we have with us Rotaractor past president, district joint secretary Arun Teja, who is handling the tech part of all the video conferencing meets and sessions of which we are going to have throughout the program of Lockdown Symposium. And also we have with us Rotaractor Krishna Arjun, who is the Deputy DRR of Rotaract District Council 3190. Welcome, Krishna. Welcome, Arun. And last but not the least, we have our we also have our co-chairman of Lockdown Symposium, Rotaractor Chandramuthu. And last but not the least, the speaker himself, past Rotaractor Bharath Gowda, who has okay, I'll leave it over to Krishna Arjun for giving the introduction of Bharat before starting the speech. So, before starting the session, and all the best, guys. See you on the other end. Do participate in all the tasks and all the activities of LS3190. If you have any suggestions, any feedback, anything else, you can directly reach out to me or Chandramuthu or any one of us anytime. And wishing you all the very best. Do make use of the opportunity provided. Thank you. Over to you, Krishna Arjun.
Thank you so much, Surya. I think we're off to an excellent start overall. Yes, good evening, Rotractors of RID 3190 and all the other Rotractors who are out there from multiple districts and multiple countries. Welcome to Lockdown Symposium 3190, the speaker series. All right, so now I have the honor of introducing the speaker of the evening, past Assistant DRR, past President and past Rotractor, Bharath Gowda, who incidentally is also married to one of the Rotractors, Navya Gowda, and they're expecting a child very soon. Wishing you the very best for that, Bharat. So the elusive Rotaract couple. Now I'll quickly read out the bio of our speaker. Rotaractor Bharat R is an entrepreneur in the field of construction and interiors. He has 10 plus years in Rotaract. He has 6 plus years in the district as an EC, 5,000 plus hours in volunteering, 40 plus projects have been chaired by him. If you wish to wish him on his birthday, that's on 19 September. And yes, he is from Bangalore, Namma 3190 Hudga. All right, thoughts about Rotaract. His thoughts about Rotaract goes like this. Rotaract is not just another weekend plan. It's a way of learning. That's what makes us a better person. Make it your passion. So these are a few of the major projects he's been a part of and also chaired. He has chaired a project named Transform, a project named as Smile, Rota Camp, which I was also a part of. He's a brilliant planner and he executes projects seamlessly. And then he was on the record creating and one of the most popular initiatives with respect to international service, the Teach Mission, right? So as Rotaractor, he also has a couple of accomplishments with respect to reviving his Rotaract Club. He was the ZRR, he was the IFMR chair and Rota Camp chair. He was a strategist for his club. And yes, he was the assistant DRR for the district RID 3190 under the term of our past DRR, Rotaractor Naveen Sena. So a couple of major recognitions that he has received. RSA MDIO has recognized him as the Happy School Ambassador. Rotary 3190 has recognized him as a Teach Mission Ambassador. RSA MDIO awardee in the year 2016-17, featured in Rotaract News Magazine by RI. So couple of skills. Yes, he's a brilliant rider, a good photographer. He cooks well and eats even better. And yeah, avid traveler. So these are few of the things that you should know before we get into the ride down the memory lane with our distinguished speaker, Bharath Gowda. He's also an immense friend and is there to help anyone at any given point of time. He provides suggestions and he's there to help, as I said, anyone at any given point of time. So reach out to him if you need any assistance or any guidance. Presenting to you the Teach Mission Ride Ambassador, a brilliant speaker, Bharath Gowda. I'll probably tell you what Teach is all about before I hand it over to Bharath. Teach stands for T stands for teachers training, E stands for e-learning, A for adult literacy, C for children's development, and H for happy schools. This is an initiative from Rotary International, and our very own Bharath was the ambassador for that. All right, Bharath, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Krishnajan.
Yes, Bharath. All over to you. Thank you for agreeing to do this, Bharath. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Krishnajan. That's one of the best introduction I've had till today. Thank you so much for that. And good evening to everyone who's here today.
Bharath, you can let me know when you want the PPT to be started.
I think we can start it now.
All right.
One second. Krishnajan, can I share the PPT? Possible? Let's just try.
Yeah, you can try.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. That was overwhelming by Krishnarjun. And I am a bit nervous today. It's been really long since I've had a good speaking session on the stage or off the stage. And thank you so much, Krishnarjun, for inviting me. This is my bike. This is what I used for the ride, and that's in Kanyakumari. So let me not go into details. The idea was to travel all these places. The basic idea was to cover every state in India and then visit two neighboring countries, Nepal and Bhutan. Between Krishnarjun, if my connection goes down or something, please let me know.
Sure, Bharat. We'll do that.
Yeah, thank you. So this is where I traveled from Bangalore towards Chennai. I went through the coast to the northeast, then to north, then back to mid, and then down south, and then back to Bangalore. So these are the places we plan to visit. And a basic structure was to travel for 120 days, travel about 20,000 kilometers with 58 pit stops, 10 services. That's out of the budget. We had 10 services in plan, and the budget was 1,30,000. And I was flagged off on the day of my installation. That's when the next president after me from Kormangla was getting installed. And the plan was to return on 9th of November. I'm not going to go through the complete detail about the Teach mission. Krishnarjun has given you a basic idea, but a little to know about Teach is teacher support is nothing but Rotary trains teachers to go back to the school and have a better learning with the children. And e-learning is nothing but Rotary provides e-learning kits to every government schools. who is in need of a e-learning kit. And adult literacy is Rotary tries to literate every adult with at least one language. Means they need to know how to write and read at least one language. And child development is coming up with innovative child learning programs for children to understand and develop themselves better. And happy school is nothing but there's a basic needs like school benches, shoes, clothes, bags, books. These are basic needs which a child should have when he has to go to school. So Rotary tries and provides all this in case it lacks in any of the government schools. This is all about Rotary India Literacy Mission, and this presentation is back from 2016. That's when I finished my ride, and the data is from then. Right now, it should be double by now. So school visits, basically what I was doing is we had a plan to travel for one day, and the next day I was supposed to visit at least 5 to 10 schools. And I was checking, I had a basic survey form where I used to check the infrastructure of the school, and I used to talk to teachers and get to know how many students and teachers are there, and health and hygiene, and how is the school management. For example, there is completely government school and there's government aided schools, like it's partially private. So how is the management going on and how is the government support? And there's something called as Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, where schools were given some grants to build toilets, and they were supported with terms of e-learning as well. And there's a lot of donors. So I had to make a kind of a database, as in collect data of how education in government schools work. So this is few examples of the schools I visited. This is all between schools in the bottom left corner. If you can see, there's a school with a basic structure and a shed. So that was a structure which was donated by one of the Rotary clubs. Otherwise, everything is all of government school. And going back to this, if you can all see this, this is the condition of at least 10% of the schools I visited. Out of 200 odd schools I visited, this is about 20, 30 schools were like this. Okay, so the top left school is from Mysore. The structure was so bad that we do not even know when the school is going to fall off. That's the only building which is there. That's a high school. And left bottom school, if you can see, there is a school in Bihar, which shows you there's about, this is a primary school where students from 1st standard to 7th standard study. And it shows that there's one classroom and they dump firewood. The firewood is basically for the midday meals. They cook meals right outside the school. And this school is also located right in front of a big drainage system. It was really stinky, unhygiene and everything. This is this is a situation in few of the government schools across India. I mean, government is doing a lot, but yes, we do have such schools. Thank God we have organizations like Rotary and other clubs out there who really help these people. And the right side, if you can see, there is a toilet and hand wash stations, which is broken and not being used. So during 2016, in the beginning of 2016, there were grants released by the central government to build toilets under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and hand stations in all of the government schools. They did build, the money was used properly. But it so happens the local villagers who is there, because they want to drink, they take off the taps and go. They sell it and they drink. And during night, they get into the school's premises, they break the bathroom doors, they broken the toilets. I really don't understand why they do it, but yes, they have done it, which is really bad. And yeah, this is India. We have to work towards a better future. And this is a school from Bhutan. If anyone has visited Bhutan, they would know how beautiful of a country it is. So Bhutan's government schools are much preferred over a private school. I mean, getting a seat in a government school is much difficult. Like they have a series of interview process, which they have to get through to get a seat. And the government school education is completely free. And it's better than a private school. So that's one of the examples which I would love to give of how Indian education system should be today. And this is a school in Nepal. Nepal has really good education system as well, but during my visit, Nepal had gone through a recent earthquake. So most of the structures had small cracks in the buildings and stuff. So they told it was unsafe for students to get inside the building. So they had to build temporary setups for the schools to continue working. And on the left top corner, if you can see, there is that's a site which a Rotary is actually constructing a school, a temporary school for the children in that village. Okay, so this was about the schools and the Teach mission. I did not go brief into it because we have 30 minutes over the complete session. So if you have any doubts, please do get in touch with me at the end. Okay, let's get to the journey. So thinking of a bike ride, everyone knows the journey is what matters. So the good part of the journey was this. This was the first good part, is the nature. I mean, if someone's telling India does not have good nature, India does not, I mean, I would really want to travel to Switzerland or Paris or whichever other countries, but India is really beautiful and you have not seen how India is. You have to visit these places. This is on the way to, most of these pictures are from the Northeast. This is close to Bhutan. This is Manipur. Manipur has the only floating sanctuary, and that's the view of the floating sanctuary. And this is on the way to Bhutan. If you can see a road on the mountains, that's where I have traveled. And these are the pictures which is all taken from my phone. And that is Shimla and a couple of things which I did other than bike ride. And my bike did have a boat ride as well. Here comes the bad part of the journey. This was in Delhi. I slipped in the bathroom and I broke my toenail completely. I mean that my toenail had to be removed completely. You know, just imagine anyone would have had a small cut in their nails anywhere in your hand. It hurts, but when your complete nail is removed, it hurts even more. So I had the pleasurable pain in my toe the whole time when I had to wear my shoe during my ride. I mean, there's no other way than to ride without my shoe. It was not safe. So that's when I broke my toe. And he is a wonderful doctor. He got to know about my riding journey, which I was going through. So he did not charge me anything for the treatment he gave me. And this was in Chhattisgarh. When I was traveling to Kolkata, I was in the highway. I usually travel like ride on the center of the road, center of the highway. So there was these two village people on an Activa who was on the extreme right of my road. I mean, that's where the high-speed vehicles has to travel. They're in the extreme right, around say talking and going in the Activa. I was in the center of the lane. I usually travel in about 80, 90, 95 sometimes. So I was in about 90, okay. I was gonna just overtake them. Suddenly these guys, because it's a small town, a small junction we were crossing by, and these two guys suddenly takes a left turn from extreme right. So, I mean, I had no other choice. I had nothing. I could not do anything else. I hit the brake. My bike fell, and I can still feel how the bike fell. It skid. It went forward. I did not get any hurt because if you can see, I had a huge bag, a sack behind, and there's a bumper, the guard in the front, and my leg just a bit of scratch on my knee. But so happened I had forgotten. I mean, I usually in the initial times I was not wearing the helmet clip. So it so happened after the bike fell down, the first hit, which my head bumped into the road. The first hit helmet was there. I can still feel it. And before my head hits the floor, the second time my helmet popped out. So that's when it hit my chin there on the right, bottom. So if you can see the red scar there, I had a huge injury inside. I mean, my whole skin was cut, and thankfully the first impact I had, nothing happened. But the second impact, I did have some injury. After that, I never rode the bike without putting the helmet clip. So this is one of the accidents I had. And viral fever. So mean, when I was your age, most of you would be of 25, 26, in and around that. So I was your age when I went on this ride. So I always waited for a chance to run away from my house. Just go, just go. I mean, I would not want to get back home. So on that day when I had this viral fever, I felt, I mean, I had a couple of good hosts. I was on my way back from Bhutan to Assam, Siliguri. So there was heavy rains in the night. Morning there's a bit of drizzling weather, and it's really cold with the clouds and everything. We do feel cold. And once I reached Siliguri, I had a very bad viral fever. I had to rest for 3 to 4 days with a high dosage of antibiotics and a couple of injections and stuff. I had two different hosts in those days. Even though you have people looking after you, you do miss your home. You, I did miss my home. I did miss my mother who takes care of me. I did miss all my friends who at least visited me when I'm not well. So that's one time I realized how important my home is. And cough and cold throughout my journey was common. And the next one is toilets. Toilets is something, I mean, this journey was the first time I actually used nature for my toilet. I mean, just imagine you're on a highway, have to travel about 400 to 500 kilometers in a day, and the whole stretch is just forest area, or you're in outskirts. You're not getting any towns. Even if you get some towns, there is no public toilets there. And even if you get some hotels, there's no toilets in hotels. People use nature. So that is the first time in my life I learned and I got used to it. And next one, night journeys were pretty bad for me because you all know bike headlights are not that bright. So any vehicles, like any cars or trucks which come with a high beam, it's impossible for me to see what's there ahead of me. At least for about 7 feet, I can see. After that, I cannot see anything. So it was really bad at that thing. And also, I mean, with the kind of headlights I had, I could see only 10 feet ahead of me. And when I'm traveling in about 80, 90 kilometers per hour, even if we get any stone or potholes or anything in between, it was really difficult for me to handle them. And I had one breakdown near Kolkata because the highways were really, really bad. So I had to change the complete fork and the headlight boom till the fork. The complete front set was changed because of the bad roads. And the picture which you can see is a small challan which I had to pay $1,000 in Himachal because I had a very loud silencer. Yes, it is my fault, but I did. That's once in a lifetime experience there. So here we come. The bad part is okay to handle. The ugly part of the journey. So this was in Gujarat. Basically, when I started my journey during July till November, that's when the rainy season and cyclone starts in India. So I was chasing the cyclone. I mean, the rain had stopped in one city, and I reached the city after a day or two. So during Gujarat, I had actually caught up to the cyclone. So there were heavy rains in Gujarat, and there was floods there. And I had to go through this. I could take only one picture because I could not stop in the water ahead. So the water level was such that my half my bike engine was submerged inside water. I mean, I had no other go. There was no other road to reach the next city from the city which I was in. So I had to continuously ride in such roads and reach the next place. And this was the condition of my lights after a couple of days. Those are three LED lights which I put. They're broken down because of journey, vibration, and the usage and everything. So it was really difficult for me to see anything during night. And this was something which happened in Bandipur forest when I was back from Tamil Nadu to Mysore. And my wheel got punctured. When I left Bangalore, I had a tubeless tire, and the wheel bearings used to get cut off every now and then. So I had to change the wheels in Pune. I changed the complete set of wheels and tires in Pune, and nothing had happened till then. And once I got back, almost at the end of the journey, I had a puncture, and there was no way we could put a puncture for a tube tire. That was a tube tire. So I took off the tire, I took off the wheel, and I was waiting for some help. I made a couple of calls using some local help and stuff. There was no village, nothing. I was right in the center of the forest. And here comes, there was this two guys in a new TVS scooter, I mean, those old, those TVS XL scooters which come. There are two guys who came. Apparently the guy, he was from Bangalore. He had bought a new vehicle and he had gone to Tamil Nadu to get some registration work done. So he told he will help me out. So he took the wheel and he went further. He had given me two numbers in case I need to get in touch with him. So I waited for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and I tried calling him. His phone is not reachable. I waited for another half an hour. There's no sign of him coming back. His phone is not reachable. The other phone is not reachable. I did not know what to do. And it's nowhere impossible for me to get a new set of wheels right then on that day. And I cannot leave the bike there. It's a forest area. If the forest department people come in, definitely they would not allow me be there. And there's no way to tow my bike, nothing. So probably after 2.5 hours, this person comes back, and with the proper wheel, and the puncture was put and everything. So I was really happy and glad. But those 1.5, 2 hours of time when I thought, I mean, I lost the wheel, I did not know what to do, was horrible. I mean, it is funny at the same time horrible, because I really did not know how to get back home with this. And this is one of the worst and the most memorable stories of my life. This was a condition of roads between in Northeast. This is mostly between Assam and Manipur, Aizawl, Silchar, Shillong. Inside Shillong is good, but the Assam part of it, the roads are pretty bad. To go towards most of the places in Northeast. Okay, and these roads especially, I came across these roads when I'm on my way from Imphal to Silchar. That's from Manipur back to Assam. There's one stretch, it so happened. Usually I leave any place because we kept a journey only during daytimes. I mean, most of it, at least 80% of my journeys were during day, between 7 o'clock in the morning when I leave till 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm supposed to reach the other destination before 6. Try to. At least 80% we did work it out. 20% we had situations like this. So I believe most of you depend on Google Map. Even today, if I do not know any place in city, I do depend on Google Map. And my whole journey depended on Google Maps. So from Imphal, I put up Google Map, and it took me to a road which no human being could drive or ride. I traveled for 2.5 hours in such road. If you can see, all the people there is the next episode. But if you can see my bike being along there, those are the roads which I came across. And just imagine the weight of the bike. And I had a luggage of about 70, 80 kilos and a slushy road. And the roads were hard, but there was slush on it. So even if I kept my foot on the floor, it used to slip. So bike slipped and fell about 6 7 times, and I had real hard time picking it up because the floor is slippery and the bike is really heavy. And no one is there. I was alone. It was really hard to pick it up. It so happened I came across a stretch which was just imagine a huge pile of slush, like a muddy slush, and there's huge trucks which has passed through. If if you can imagine like those tire marks, okay, it leaves a tire mark which is considerably okay for a bike to pass through. So what I did, I was trying to pass through. It was about 2 feet depth. I was trying to pass through that small tire mark, thinking it was okay, and the bike slipped when I entered the tire mark. When I entered the pile, it slipped and fell down. So basically, I'm stuck between two big piles, and my bike is right in between. It was impossible for me to pick it up. I tried for 10 minutes. I exhausted myself. And that day I remembered everything which came across my head was a journey I had with all my friends. I mean, all the small trips we have to Ooty or Goa or uh, through Bandipur forest. So I used to imagine that. I'm like, I wish my friends were there on that day, because absolutely no one. It was deserted. There was no one in the whole road. Nothing. No creature. No animals. Nothing. So the bike fell. I did not know what to do. So about a kilometer and a half behind, I had seen a couple of people working on the road development. I mean, they were cutting down a couple of big rocks and stones to construct that road. So I had to leave the bike. I walked back a kilometer and a half. I had to get that person to come down and help me pick the bike. And when I spoke to him, I understood the road which I was going, or the Google map was showing, would not take me to Silchar. It was not going to go back to Assam, and it was impossible for me to cross the road. So I had to head back to the city which where I started. I from 7 o'clock. When after I got back, it was about 1 o'clock. No breakfast, no lunch. I directly took some help from the Rotarians. I directly went to the service station because my bike had heated up and I was not able to accelerate properly. I had to get another service done, and then they told me the proper road to go. I head forward in the route which they told me. Even then, even those roads were slushy, and these are the kind of condition even those roads were. If you can say this is how those roads were. So basically what happens during those times, during those rainy times, the trucks which has come, they usually stop. They spend their days in the truck, probably a week or 10 days. They spend the time in the truck, they sleep, they eat, they do everything in the truck. And only after the roads are better, they start traveling ahead. But during that season which had gone there, that stopped any trucks entering in these roads, and all the trucks were actually traveling in the trains. They were taking trains. All the goods were traveled in the trains. So these are kind of roads I could at least travel in these roads. They were little. It was not too slushy, but yes, it was a little better than the previous road which I went through. And it so happened 3:30 I left. So I left Imphal, and it was about 10. It was about 6:30. No, keep it at 6 o'clock. And northeast gets darker very faster than any other part of the country. So at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, it was already sunset and it was dark. I was traveling at about 6:30. I was going through, it was a huge mountain. I was passing through the mountain hilly areas. I could not see a single vehicle, a single soul, a single human being for about 2 hours. No one, nothing. And there was no food. I was really hungry. There was no water, nothing. So after traveling at about 10 o'clock, I came across the small village where people just sit outside the house because they have nothing else to do. They have no current, no power, no TV, no phones, nothing. They just sit outside the house and they talk. That's what they do in that village. So I just asked them probably if they could help me with going forward. Can I go forward or what, or can I stay there? They told there's no place to stay, but I can go ahead. So after traveling for about half an hour, I came through again slushy road. I had to stop my bike or take the torch, go ahead, walk ahead, put my foot inside the slush and see if the bike can go through. Only then I take my bike and go. This happened for about 6, 7 patches over there. And after that, I found a small army camp, a small base where I really could not go ahead. I was exhausted. I was tired. I was exhausted. So I went to this security guard who was standing there. Apparently, I spoke to him so much. I was telling him, sir, like I cannot go forward. I do not know what to do. I'm really hungry also. Can you please help me? He had a gun in his hand and he was like, go, do not stop. Apparently, he did not know English or Hindi. I did not know Manipuri. So he was talking in Manipuri. Uh, he was like, go, don't stop here, don't stand here, go. I tried having a conversation, didn't help. So he went and bought someone who knew Hindi. So this guy comes, I tell him the situation. He tells, okay, just wait. I'll just talk to a senior. He went inside, spoke to a senior, came back. And they did not allow me to sleep inside the camp, but about half a kilometer away from his camp, which is wherever it's visible, just outside a closed shop, he told me to sleep because it was drizzling as well. And there's too many mosquitoes inside. So they gave me a small mosquito coil. And the best part was they gave me some food to eat. They had some food left over from after dinner. So they gave me some food to eat. They gave me a mosquito coil. I had my sleeping bag. I rested for the day. I was supposed to reach Silchar on that night. I could not. And my phone had no signal for the entire time. And there was no way for me to tell the host from the next place or or the people or my team who was working from Bangalore where I was, if I was safe or not, because those areas from Manipur to Assam, those mountains are filled with something called as underworld. Underworld are mostly like Naxalites who there are across India. So those people usually have anyone traveling, they get robbed or they get killed. So no one travels after 6:30 in these hilly areas. So I had no way to tell. The funny thing is, these army people, they do not use smartphones. They have these basic cell phones, which they use, and across the border, across the border of the camp, they have a couple of places where they put rubber bands. So they take the phone, they clip it to the rubber band, and keep searching for signal till they get a signal. They have some 2, 3 spots across the camp where they get signal. So we tried for half an hour, 45 minutes. There's this two really helpful soldiers who helped me out. We got signal for like 2 minutes. We made a quick call, told my team that I was okay. I was in a camp, so I'll be heading forward tomorrow. And yeah, it was an amazing experience with those people and all these things. And next day morning, that's the first time I had bath. They leave this pipe in a hill. The water collected from the hills. It comes in a pipe. It keeps flowing. So I had a bath there, and because my whole dress, my riding jacket, and my knee pads, the gloves, and everything was slush. It's fully mud. So I had to wash everything uh, and then go forward with my journey. So that is one memorable and the ugliest thing I went through. And this was all the services which happened. Basically, waiting in service stations mean mostly we have waited for an hour, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I have spent 10 hours in a day to get my bike serviced or fixed. So there was serious trouble, serious conditions, and a lot of changes in the whatever the wheels, bearings, or brake oils, and problems with so many things because of the roads and everything. And I mean, service station, mainly it was not a luxury service station. There were authorized infill stations as well and the local things. And I would not sit, I would put my hands on the bikes. I would do some things myself. I would clean the bike myself. So yeah, these are things which I did. And city and highway traffic, mostly traveling in South Indian highways, including Telangana and Andhra, except Kerala and South. So all the highways are really good. Going upwards towards Uttar Pradesh and Kerala and Madhya Pradesh, few of the highways or most of the highways, people in those town junctions really do not care about traffic and speed and whatever. They go however they want. Even in a big highway, I see a car coming on a one-way road, but he's on the extreme right, which is not supposed to be in a curve. So these are the kind of roads we go through. Again, if we're in a car, yes, there is safety. You have seatbelt, you have an airbag, your brakes are good and everything. But when you're on a bike, when you're traveling in 80s, 90s, so anything happens, even if a small thing, uh, it's risk to it is a risk to our life. So that's a nuisance which people do on the highways. Between before everything, when I was leaving on the journey, after I was flagged off from Bangalore on the way towards Electronic City Bridge, I was on the bridge. So the only thing which was running in my mind is, I know I'm going on a very risky journey. Traveling for 4 months was not a joke. The only thing I was thinking is, if I'm coming back, I'm going to come back in one piece, or else I'm not going to come back. So that is what I thought. Thankfully, God's blessings and everyone's blessings, I came back in one piece. But I did think about that because of the traffic nuisance which people do. Uh, and the weather conditions, I went through all kind of weather conditions, very heavy rains. I had to ride through very heavy rains. I mean, I could not, even if the rains because of cyclone did not stop in an hour or two or three, it used to go on throughout the day. So I had to ride no matter what. And this is a couple of road tractions I had. I was hosted by Rotractors, Rotarians, and I had meetings with them, and I had literate exchanges, had dinners, I had lunch, breakfast, everything with the Rotary family. So it was a wonderful experience with all these people. And this, without any doubt, was one of my best hosted place. So this was again the most worst experience I had, and the best was in the same place, that was in Manipur, Imphal. So this is the team of people who this is the arrangement which they had when I was reaching Imphal on the day I reached there in the evening. So all these people had come in the bikes. They all have cars, but they hired bikes, they borrowed bikes, and they all came in bike because I was coming on a bike. So they had made a banner for me. They received me there, and they took me back to the hotel. I had a very warm welcome at the hotel as well. And next day they had a press meet, and they took me to the floating sanctuary, couple of places. I had an amazing time with these people. And this was in Agartala. So this is where they took me to a mall. I did not speak that good of a Hindi. Uh, Thankfully, I knew some Hindi and I improved myself during the journey. So across India, Hindi works. English, not everywhere, but Hindi does work. Even in some parts of Nepal and Bhutan, people speak Hindi. So this was in Agartala where they took me to a mall, and it was a surprise for me when they they all of a sudden started calling people, come, 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 and they wanted me to talk to them. I really did not know what to talk, and yeah, I think I made some sense at least. Next is, this was in Nepal. Uh, Nepal, I reached Nepal during the Test Festival. Test Festival is something where all the women celebrate this festival and they pray to get uh, a good husband or to get married soon. So in looking out for a good husband, they celebrate that festival. So that's the team which hosted me in Nepal. This was in Nepal, no, Bhutan. No, not Bhutan. This was in Sikkim. Okay, this is called the Bareilly. So where people actually there's a small entry fee where once we get in, they give us free dinner, and they have showcase of dance and the culture. They have different setups showing the culture. They have some tarot reading and everything. So this was an experience where uh, we get to know their culture and everything. And between in this place, I lost my bike key. It so happened that's changing the lock and everything is going to be really difficult. So after searching for an hour, the authorities from the place had found the key somewhere. They brought me the key back, and I had reached in time to Gujarat. It was not planned, but a couple of places I did reach in a wonderful time there. In Gujarat, there was Navratri happening, so Garba festivals everywhere, and thankfully there was a team from Bangalore which was visiting Gujarat, and probably after 3 months, I got to meet someone who could speak my mother language. That's Kannada. I mean, you'll be so happy. I mean, it was so overwhelming to see someone or to at least hear someone in person speaking your mother language. And we had an opportunity to visit blind school in case Rajvamshi or Kiran or Ravi is there, they would know this. So this blind school, there's a huge hospital, and the basement was converted into a dark room where we are all blindfolded and we enter the dark room. Basically, it's completely pitch dark. You cannot see anything otherwise. So there are a couple of blind students and people who is managing the whole setup. So they take us through a varied journey of making us touch a couple of flowers and show what it is, and couple of face statues, make us touch them and guess who it is, and took us through a bridge, make us walk on a stone flooring and a wooden flooring, and took us through various things where we actually feel like what a blind person goes through. And then they made us sit in a small theater setup where they put up this movie Thare Zameen Par, no visual, only audio. And literally everyone who attended that had tears in their eyes. I mean, it is it is it is so difficult for us to understand, or what I mean, just imagine you cannot see, and understanding how they, how they know what fruit it is only through smell and touching. Only they do not know how it looks. They do not know how anything looks. It's just smell and taste for them. So that's unfortunate, but it was an amazing experience from those people. And yep, I had an opportunity to reach out to more than 3,000 youths, as in Rotaract people, and attended a couple of Rotary and Rotaract meetings. Had a privilege of meeting very, very high positioned people across India, that's in the Rotary, and great opportunity to understand different cultures and food and projects and everything. So this is to thank all the hosts. And I was supposed to lose weight throughout my journey. I did not. I came back the same way because all the hosts were so good that they kept feeding me, feeding. That's the only thing. But yeah, there were a couple of places where I had no food, but most of the places, happy food. And all the schools visit, outing with all the Rotaractors and Rotarians, and the support I got from them were enormous and amazing. And this is one of the place I stayed in Siliguri, that's in Assam. This was a house owned by a Rotaractors family. So this is more like a palace, or you could call it the most expensive house in Assam. So I had an opportunity to stay here. And this is uh, the only biggest hotel in Imphal, that's in Manipur. I again had an opportunity to stay here. That's the first time I stayed in such hotel in my life. And this was my birthday celebration with the top left corner. Those two boys, I had my birthday celebrated with them. I was in Jammu at that time. I was supposed to go to Kashmir. I could not because there was a road closure. They had a curfew in Kashmir right after Jammu. They closed the complete roads because of stone pelting and everything in Kashmir. And the left corner was in Coimbatore, Junikopana, one of the famous places in Coimbatore. And this is the newspaper the reports I had for my journey, all with the help of Rotary people. And miscellaneous I did was I killed a lot of butterflies during the journey. A lot of butterflies and moths come hit my helmet or the bike. They die. Rest in peace, all those butterflies. And RIP, all the dead animals. I at least saw about 50 odd dead dogs across the road on the highways. I did rob a lot of toothpaste and soaps. There are small ones which they keep, mostly Oreos and all. They keep those small soaps and toothpaste in the hotel rooms. I did pick up a lot of those. And are you selling clothes? That means most of the villages, when I go in small towns, these local people, when I stop there, they're curious to come and talk to me. So they come down. I had this experience when most of them ask me if I'm selling clothes because I had a huge bag behind. And generous people, a couple of shops, when I purchased something, a minimal thing for about 20 rupees or 50 rupees, they did not take any money from me because they knew I was a biker and I was traveling very far. And when you think the bad roads are over, think again. This is in most of the highways towards north. All the potholes and everything gets over. I think, yeah, finally, I hit a good highway. I can now travel in about in a better speed and I can reach the destination. In about a kilometer or two, again the pothole starts. That's bad, very very bad. And toll free across India, yes, there's no toll fee charge for a bike, but except Bhutan border, I did not pay any toll fee anywhere across India. That saved me a lot of money. And final destination, uh, this happened somewhere in towards Odisha, I think, towards Odisha when I was traveling. There was this two-lane huge highway, four-lane highway. There was a divider in the center. So it got too late. I was still traveling at about 11:30, 12 o'clock. And there was a couple of off-roading I had to do because they were repairing the road or they're constructing a bridge or something. Every 2 kilometers, they had a diversion where I had to take the service lane and then again come back to the highway. It so happened while traveling, I saw this small board which says danger. I go in about 30 seconds, I see another board telling accident zone, drive carefully. I go a little further, I see another board to the right saying in case of emergency, call this number. I don't know, I had this feeling like something bad's gonna happen. So my heart was pounding really bad. And as I was passing by on the highway, I just passed through a part of the road where a dog was dead and the head was on the right side and the body was on the left side. I had to pass in between. I did not know, I was not expecting it. So a dead dog, and I just passed through that. That made me think even more. My heart started pounding even more faster. I was in about 80s, and all of a sudden, because of the diversion, there was a speed breaker, like a speed breaker, all of a sudden on the road without any highlighter or anything, right in the middle of the road, and I had to apply harsh brake. And I did not know there was a car right behind me who was in about 90s or 100s or 120s. I do not know. He hit brakes and he was I do not know, I think about 6 inch, about half a foot away from hitting me, and that something scared me even more. I did not stop the bike because I knew the car guy was going to take a trip on me. I did not stop the bike, but I put down my speed and I went ahead with my journey. But that's one memorable thing which I cannot forget. And Kerala highways, do not ask me. It's as big as any other 80 feet roads or 60 feet roads in Bangalore. So they're really small highways, and it is really hard to ride through the traffic in Kerala highway. And so the conclusion was I did successfully travel India, Nepal, and Bhutan and visited 196 schools, approximately 19,000 kilometers, with 116 days and 65 pit stops. I had to have 12 services and 4 breakdowns. Services are the normal services, breakdowns are when bike had to have some replaced parts replacing done, or bike could not move or anything. And the budget increased to 150, and I returned back on 9th of November. I'm sorry, that's supposed to be November 2016. And the best part about my journey is that's when the note ban happened on 8th of November, if I'm not wrong. So on 8th, when they banned currency notes, I was in Mysore. So luckily I did not have to go through carrying hard cash during the note ban thing. So this is a learning I had, a lot of learnings, and extras I did. I donated blood, plasma, organs. RIP dog is something interesting where I got, I was visiting a government school in Goa, and there was a dead dog, which was probably dead for about a day or two, and it was lying right in front of the school gate. It was a small school with a small gate and everything. It was there right in front of the gate, and there was a lot of insects and everything on the dog, and there was this government school kids passing by that, so it was really infectious and not good for the children. So I had a talk with one of the Rotaract. We are just 3 people, 1 girl and 2 guys. We spoke to the school authorities, and there was some empty space inside the school. We dug a hole by ourselves. It was difficult. We took 2 hours to dig a hole, and we buried the dog there with good note. School had holidays from next day, so midterm holidays for about 15-20 days, so the children would not get any infection. So we did that, and letterhead exchanges, orientation programs, and the radio interview. And these are my dreams. And my coordinators, Rachel was coordinating completely with the host and everyone. Thanks to her. And these are all the sponsors I had. Almost 80% of the funds were sponsored. And the end. Thank you so much. Krishnajan.
All right. Thank you, Bharath, for taking us through the journey. Brilliant and inspiring journey indeed. Bharath, before we head to the Q&A, do we quickly go through the video so that everyone gets a glimpse of your ride?
Yes, please.
All right. Just a second. Yeah.
देखो इन्हें ये है ओस की बूंदें, पत्तों की गोद में आसमां से कूदे, अंगड़ाई ले फिर करवट बदल कर, नाजुक से मोती हंस दे फिसल कर, खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर ये तो है सर्दी में धूप की किरणें उतरे जो आंगन को सुनहरा सा करने मन के अंधेरों को रोशन सा कर दे ठिठुरती हथेली की रंगत बदल दे खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर सपना और सपने में मिल जाए फरिश्ता सा कोई जैसे रंगों भरी पिचकारी जैसे तितलियां फूलों की क्यारी जैसे बिना मतलब का प्यारा रिश्ता हो कोई ये तो आशा.
All right, I think that was a bigger video. We'll share the video link to all of you so that you can go through it whenever you have the time. But thank you, Bharath, for taking us through the journey. It was like we lived and we were there with you throughout the journey. So thank you again for doing that. And now we're open for questions. If anyone has any questions, you can put it up on the chat. I will meanwhile start off with the proceedings for the Q&A with the set of questions that I had. So please feel free to add the questions on the chat, guys. All right, so a few of the observations that I had, one of the most important things was with respect to the helmet. Helmet's not just for the sake of wearing. You have to make sure that you clip it and you have to make sure that your head is safe, right? So if you just wearing it for the sake of the traffic police, then you're putting yourself into danger. So please make sure that you wear the helmet for your safety. And
just to add to that, Krishnarjun.
Yes.
That day, if not for the helmet, I would have definitely had a very bad head injury, maybe a brain hemorrhage as well, because the impact was really bad.
Yes. Thanks, Bharath, for re-emphasizing on that. All right, and one more thing is about the TEACH program itself. This year, Rotary International is putting extra emphasis on TEACH, and it's one of the most important programs that we can all be a part of and make a difference, basically. So I request you guys to be a part of this TEACH program in whatever scale. And if you are planning to do any of these rides or walkathons or any sort of adventure activity, and you request or you require support from Rotary, see how you can plan it, have that dream team, and also put it in sync with the focus area that Rotary has so that they can also support and you'll continue to receive that support wherever you go. So that was brilliantly done by Bharath. You had a fantastic team to back you, and you had that sync and also made sure that you had that theme for the ride, which was the emphasis that Rotary had. And wherever you went, they were treating you like royalty, if I'm not wrong. So
they did.
Yeah, it's very important that you plan it out very carefully, and I urge you guys to do that in the near future. And we also learned about the do's and don'ts when you plan something like this. So yes, there were very difficult times, like nature calls in nature, and no food, no water, and mosquitoes and whatnot. You're putting your life in danger, some life-threatening situations. But probably the takeaways would be lifelong memories and connections that will last for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Bharath. Now let's quickly get into the question and answer. First question is, what is that one funny incident which still makes you laugh every time you think about this ride? Something that you haven't covered this on the PPT that you presented now.
Funny incident. maybe I would say the nature's call itself. I mean, it is really funny. I mean, never tried but got used to it. I understand you guys understand what I mean by getting used to it. I mean, you don't feel ashamed anymore.
Yes, necessity is the mother of invention. Now
Yeah.
we're all used to Zoom, so yeah, if you don't have a choice, you'll have to adapt. All right. There's one question from the chat which says, you were talking about Kanyakumari. We have Tanya Kumari here who's asking a question. Can you explain the satisfaction you got after doing this whole event, the Teach Ride?
The satisfaction was immense because the kind of memories I have today, the kind of journey I went through, it's been 4 years I did it. And I still remember it. It's right there in front of me. I mean, I can still visualize everything. I can still remember everything. I mean, my memory power is not so great. I mean, the only way I learned geography of India was through this ride because I never knew the names of all the states, at least before I started my journey. I learned it on my way in the journey. And yeah, I mean, all those friends I made, very, very, very memorable. And it's a huge thing. I mean, I would I would wish each one of you tomorrow would do something big in your life that you would never forget. You would never forget till you die.
Thanks, Bharat, for inspiring us again. And yeah, yesterday when we were having a chat, he was like, why don't we go for a COVID awareness ride after things settle down? So that Josh is still there with Bharat. Thank you, Bharat. We'll hopefully do something in the near future. And we'll quickly, okay, if you had to redo this, would you structure it slightly differently so that you could make this a little safer? Uh, for example, you did have near-death experiences while riding in the night. Would you probably prefer riding only in the morning, in the daylight, and probably resting in the night? Would that be something that you would consider?
See, with regards to safety, how much ever you prepare yourself, how much ever pre-planning we have, a journey is always a journey, man. How much ever we plan, it's not going to go according to your plan. Because you never know how the roads are going to be. You never know whom you're going to meet. You never know what's going to happen in the road. So if it's just sitting in a room and doing something, it's fine. You can plan it properly. But when you're on the roads, when you're in an adventure, plans do not work. You have to be prepared for the worst. So preparation is the best thing.
Correct. You have to be prepared for the worst.
Worst.
And if best happens, yeah, you're already prepared for that as well. Okay, so Surya is asking a question. Was Teach Mission Ride your first long ride? And if not, you can tell more details on what was the other one.
The first, I mean, couple of small rides we used to go on was with couple of friends, like a day or two outing kind of stuff. We used to go to Ooty or Goa or Masinagudi, some places like these, or Kerala. So South India was something which I had done. My first long journey was coast to coast South India. That we went to from Bangalore to Pondicherry and head all the way to Kanyakumari through the coast and went all the way to Goa. So that's my first long journey. And the second journey was my first entry to the north. That's when I just backpacked. I thought, I mean, I was not married then. So I just backpacked. I had about, I don't know, 10, 15, 20,000 in account. So that's when I had started earning. So I was like, let me just go. I backpacked, I left home. I left home just like that. And the idea was to go to Delhi. I did not know how I was going to reach, but I wanted to go to Delhi. So I took Google Map on my phone. I saw which city was heading towards Delhi, and I just left off to the city. And it was really scary riding for the first time on the roads after Hyderabad, heading towards Nagpur, I mean, Madhya Pradesh. The roads are really scary for the first time. Once you get used to it, it's okay, but it was really scary. The Delhi was my second ride. After that, this is my third long ride.
Cool. Okay. So we have a quick rapid fire to make it interesting now. All these questions are mainly related to the ride. Okay. So go ahead and answer whatever comes to your mind first. Don't think too much. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. You can take a deep breath if you want. All right. It starts now. The best food you had.
Punjab.
Okay. What was the food?
Punjabi, like your rotis and paneer, all the
Okay.
butter.
All right. Okay. What was the best cool drink you had?
Actually, no.
No. Okay.
No, I didn't drink.
Okay. Where did you have the best Maggie on the journey? If you did have.
Nepal.
Okay. Water actually dictates the taste of Maggie and how hungry you are. Yes. Nepal. Good answer. What was your favorite music on the journey? What was that one song you used to listen to all the time?
I had a track, so it used to repeat again, and I don't remember which song because I used to remember all songs. I used
All
to
right.
go through all the songs. Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite playlist. Best view on the journey overall.
Bhutan.
Okay. And if you had to ride again, would you choose the same bike or any other bike in the world?
Any other bike. Bike is not a preference. Riding is what matters.
Awesome. All right. Best roads,
Bhutan.
worst roads.
Assam.
Where did you see the best school in the entire journey?
Uh, Bhutan.
Okay. A lot of answers. What did you miss the most on the journey?
Friends. I was alone. Most of the time I was alone in the room. I was alone when having food. I was alone in the journey. I was alone to have a cup of coffee as well. So I was feeling lonely. Yeah, friends.
Okay. What was the most memorable thing in Nepal? What was the most memorable thing in Bhutan? What was the most memorable thing for you in India?
Bhutan was the view, the roads, the traffic signs, and Nepal was the culture, and India was the host, the people. They're really
Hospitality.
hospitality. Yeah.
All right. What kept you motivated throughout the journey?
The next destination, what's waiting for me there?
All right. Perfect. Let's us come to the end of the rapid fire. You were done really well, Bharat. We wish we could give you something, but yeah, lockdown times.
I have Google Pay and Phone Pay.
All right. Okay, so Arun Teja asks this. What is the craziest thing you did?
No, Krishna, that's not my question. That is a question from Saurabh B on YouTube.
All right. Okay. So we're getting questions from YouTube live as well. Thank you, Arun, for sharing that. Saurabh asks, what is the craziest thing you did on the journey, Bharat?
Craziest thing I did in journey. Everything was crazy actually. I mean, everything was exciting and crazy. I don't know. Everything was exciting for me.
Okay. Thank you,
I
Saurabh.
mean, craziest thing was, again, I would say using the nature was crazy. I mean,
yeah, putting yourself in danger.
In that day.
That might have
Oh yeah,
been...
the craziest thing might be the Manipur thing when I went through the underworld, the mountain areas in the night where it was really risky and stayed in the army camp and everything. That was crazy.
All right. Okay. So the next question is what did your parents say, or how did they react when you came up with this idea of going for the ride?
They were shocked. They didn't want me to go, as every parents do not want any child to go. But I was very adamant. I just want what I want, so I did leave. I mean, they sent me happily, but I did want to do this, and I told them. They understood.
Perfect. All right. So I think we're done with most of the questions. So if someone had to take on a similar ride like this, what would be your advice for them?
Just don't expect anything. Be prepared for yourself. Don't expect anything because this is going to be an adventure. Adventure is never planned. Adventure is just excitement. So just go ahead, be prepared, buckle yourself, pack everything you need, and leave. Have some extra cash. So that is all you need to do.
Yeah, that always helps. And Google Pay and Paytm and Phone Pay might come in handy, might not come in handy.
Some places they don't even accept that.
Yeah, so a little bit of cash might help. And yeah, so Surya asked one more question. It's interesting. Does one have to be part of a bike riding club or community in order to attempt these kind of long rides?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. If you have money, you can do it alone. You can stay in OU rooms. You can stay in hotels everywhere you go. You want to have a lonely time, you can do it. But because I was doing this for a cause and I had help from Rotary, as you're all a part of the Rotaract Club and the Rotary, there is Rotaract across India, across the world. So uh, you can always get in touch with them. You can always get in touch with the clubs, the districts. They will help you. They'll probably help you host. Or if you're ready to spend money on yourself, they'll help you find hotels. They'll ask you to come join them for a meeting. So you are going to meet friends everywhere because you're part of the Rotary. So you don't have to be a part of any biking club or anything. You just have to have the passion to do it.
All right. Numan Habib asks, who and all went with you on this journey? I would like to answer the partial bit of it. So Numan, Bharat, his bike, and his team, and all of us in the district were also concerned. So we were regularly checking where he was. So we were all on the ride. Right now, you're also on the ride because we're really reliving the moment. But Bharat, I'll let you answer that.
Thank you. So, Newman, I was alone on the ride, but I did have help from friends across the nation. But during the journey, yes, I was alone. It was a solo ride.
Yes. Thank you, Bharat. I think that covers all the questions we had. And yeah, so again, I urge everyone to try something like this in your lifetime, which will make you proud, and plan it, structure it properly so that you'll have a good experience. Otherwise, it's going to be an adventure either way, if you plan it or not. But it'll be a better one if you probably plan it a little bit. Otherwise, it'll be a little more adventurous. So be ready for that. And Surya says we can take two more questions, but yeah, so yeah, I also had one thing to say. Basically, it's good to make mistakes, and the thing is, we don't have all the time in the world to make all possible mistakes. So we have to learn from our mistakes as well as mistakes of the others. So we've seen what all went well for Bharat. What are the few things that might have gone wrong? So we can learn from his mistakes, and when we are planning it for the next time, we can plan it slightly better. Okay, so yeah, those were the things, and RIP dogs, a lot of good things, good initiatives, Bharat, on the ride, which were really inspiring. And I would like to thank you again for doing this, sparing your time. I know it's one of those most awaited times for you in the family. You're almost welcoming a new member, and there's Candy, uh, ready to welcome a brother or sister. Candy is the dog that Bharat has, guys. So uh, I think it's we wish you the very best for that. We're looking forward to seeing the young member of your family very soon. And
Thank
thank you
you.
again for doing this, Bharat. And if you don't have any other questions, Surya, we can close this. Surya, are you there? Okay, wait. A few questions are coming up now. Raghunath is asking, what made you take up this mission? Is there any sort of inspiration?
Maybe I took this up because I wanted the adventure. I mean, that's what inspired me. I mean, I like adventures. I like doing something new. I like being out of box. So when you have to stand out, I mean, you have to take up something which is crazy and which is risky and adventurous. So this is something which I thought of. It was an idea all of a sudden which popped out, and I had a word with one of a friend, and he was like, "Okay, just do it." I went ahead and did it. So it was just for out of adventure and passion I did it.
Perfect. Brilliant answer. I think that brings us to the end of the Q&A session. Thanks, Bharat, and over to you, Surya. Okay, Surya has to be muted 1 second. All right, Surya, go ahead.
Audible? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir. So yeah, couple of thank yous and First of all, I would like to thank Bharat. We just put a message out to you. We called you, and you readily accepted. And this is the passion that he has for Rotaract, and I guess all of us share the same passion for Rotaract. Thank you so much, Bharat, for doing this for us. It means a lot, and thank you so much for all the inspiration that you have passed on today for all of us. And yeah, to you, Krishna, thank you so much for hosting this, all the rapid fire round and the questions, and really unexpected, and it did add up to the final thing of the program. And Arun, thank you for maintaining this entire program seamlessly and with all the no technical glitches. And thank you so much for that, Arun. And yes, we also have a couple of executive council members over here who joined us for the meet. Thank you so much for joining us. On last but not the least, we have all the participants and guests who joined us on people who are there on YouTube link. Thank you for joining us, and people who are there with us, our participants of LS3190. Thank you so much for joining us.